Okay, so now this is going to be a instruction video on how to create a personal POI file for your GPS device, including your smartphone, which would go into Google Maps from My Maps. So before I go on a photo trip, I like to do a lot of research on the area that I'm going to visit and figure out the various hotspots and in places that I think I might want to take a picture of. So after figuring out the various places I want to go to, I go through the process of creating my personal POI file that I can, kind of put into my GPS devices that to make it easy to get to the locations. And I spent a fair amount of time over the last couple of days trying to acquaint myself with the current methodology and technology, because Google likes to keep on changing things around on people, essentially making them better, but, kind of apps that didn't work before, or I mean that worked before, don't work now, and then it was a process of figuring out where my maps were and how to access them. Pardon me. So now, in building a person's, kind of customized POI file, and can be applied to a whole bunch of different things. It doesn't necessarily need to be, kind of photography hotspots. It could be also at the various hotels you plan on staying at, the towns you want to visit, restaurants you might want to, kind of see. You can put all these things in your own POI file and put them in your GPX and make it pretty easy for you to get around to the various places that you might want to go to, whether it's an antique store that you heard a lot about, all these different things you can put in your personal POI file. So, like I said, there is two methods of starting. You can create your own POI file from by essentially by using Google Earth to get your coordinates for the location, or you can get a file from another person or another party. And then, of course, there is also the process. You can get various different apps that will be devoted to, kind of various like restaurants or that you can go to via your different apps. I like doing it myself because I like putting everything just in one location rather than using a bunch of different apps to for different purposes, whether it's for restaurants or hotels or that kind of stuff. So anyway, so I'm going to start the process of building a point of interest file, and I'm just going to do lighthouses that are within driving distance of Portland, both in Washington and Oregon. And I'm going to go through the first part is pretty simple. And I like using Google Earth for this. Actually, this is Google Earth Pro, which is free now. And the earlier you had to pay for it, but it was the easiest one for actually creating your place markers and building the file. So the first thing I'm going to do before I start, kind of doing location and place markers, is I'm going to create a folder for what I want to call this. So I'm going to create a new folder, and it's going to be Oregon and Washington. And I'll just type down here houses close to Portland. Sometimes I'm challenged spelling wise. So okay, so here's our folder, and I'm going to make sure that this is highlighted, and I'm going to go to and create the first location, which is going to be the closest one to Oregon in Washington, the closest one to Portland in Oregon, which is going to be Cape. Mears, M-E-A-R-E-S, and I see it right there, Cape Mears Lighthouse, and we'll go to that. And here's our lighthouse. Here's Cape Mears Lighthouse. There's cute little guy, Cape Mears Lighthouse. So now we're going to create a place marker for it. And I'm going to click on here, and look at that, it lands right on Cape Mears. So now it's really important. A lot of times it's hardly ever does it land right on the item like that. Like maybe it'll land over here, and then I'll drag the little dude over. And you have to move it to this location you want to. Fill in this information, fill in this information before you click OK. If you just move it and you click OK, and you can change the name of it, but you can't put any other of this stuff in here. You'll have to delete the place marker and then kind of go through all over this again and then kind of click OK. So make sure you fill all this out and move it to the spot you want to before you click OK. So now the first thing I'll do is I'll just call this M-E-A-R-E-S Lighthouse. And then now you can change not only the color but the size of the place marker, and also you can reduce its opacity. So you got some different selections here. Sometimes, like in this case, we're doing lighthouses, and I'll come back and I'll show you a nicer icon than this one. But a lot of them, maybe I'll just want to designate it as a place I might want to take pictures. So, and it's got some other funky ones here. You don't have a big selection, so we're going to go back. And let's say I'm going to just use a blue one, and I'll drop it down a little bit. Actually, blue ones don't stand out very well, so maybe I'll use a green. That's a funky green one. Okay, we'll use that one. So what size am I using? Yeah, let's go 1. Oh. Okay, and I click OK. So now we're going to go to the next one. I want to do Cape Disappointment. Disappointment, come on. Disappointment Lighthouse. Owako. Okay. And here's our Cape Disappointment Lighthouse. I'll click on a picture. Looks kind of dirty, doesn't it? Wonder if they cleaned it up lately. Oh, there's a picture of the bluff. Oh, another view. Oh, we have some other pictures of the lighthouse. There we go. That's a little better. All right. Anyway, so here's our lighthouse. We're going to do another one. Look at that. Landed right on it again. So, okay. Lighthouse. So now, as you notice, it used the place marker and the size that I used the first time. So as I work through this, it will continue to use the same one. All right. We're going to go a little north to North Head Lighthouse. There he is, North Head Lighthouse, Owako, which is right there. Which is actually a pretty cool lighthouse too. A nice building, that kind of stuff. And you walk out to the lighthouse, and you got this big, right on the pinnacle here. There it is. Kind of dirty too. All right, so see, here we go. Okay, now I got to move it over to this dude. Now, you may want to give some thought, because in this case, that's where the lighthouse is. but you actually have to walk to the lighthouse. I think the parking spot is like right here. So in a GPS, typically it will take you to, kind of the closest to where, you can figure out. But in this case, kind of you may want to actually put it over to where the parking lot is. But anyway, we're gonna call this North Head. All right. Okay, so now a lot of times you won't have, or there are going to be many cases where Google Earth is not going to know the location for the item that you want to go to. Like, for example, let's say it's a waterfall, particularly a waterfall, and there are several different ones. And you may need to find the GPS coordinates and type it in rather than just a name. So it's not necessarily intuitive how to type the GPS coordinates are. And if you look down at the bottom here, you can see approximately what the coordinates. So we're at 40. Actually, this is where the pointer is. 46, 175. Kind of 36 north, and then 124 for west. So now I'm going to just use decimals, but when you do west, it needs to be a negative number, and when it's east, this is a positive number. So if I were to type in just, like for example, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to type in a number that I know is for Yaquina Bay Lighthouse, and it is 44.67681 space, and it's a negative 124.07938, and it will take me to Yaquina Bay Lighthouse, and we got a little picture of it at sunset. That's a nice picture. A couple other pictures. That's cool. So for example, so it's really easy if you just stay with this format and don't worry about kind of degrees and minutes and all that kind of stuff. And Google Earth really makes it easy. So this is what would happen if I hadn't put the negative sign. Where would it take me? Someplace in China, I guess. I don't know where this is. In the middle of some rice field, it looks like. Where am I? Where is this? Yeah, someplace in China. Chongqing. Anyway, so okay, we're going to go back and put our negative sign because I want to put that into our little POI file. Alright, so we're going to put a place marker here, and it lands right on that. Isn't that nice? Bay Lighthouse. Alright. Now, Yaquina Bay, because Yaquina Head is in the town of Newport. And I'm just going to go down here. Sometimes you're just going to want to move around and you're going to see something you want to do, and you can just do it this way. So here's where Yaquina Bay is, right there. Isn't that nice looking? It's a cool house. Alright, so we're going to put another place marker. And I'm going to come over here, and I'll call it Bay Lighthouse. Alright. So, now if you will notice, none of these place markers are in our folder because they should be set in. So I'm just going to drag these up and put them in our in our folder. All right, so okay, so I got my folder, the Oregon and Washington lighthouses, and that's all I'm going to do for this. I mean, this is just a okay. So now, like, and I know this because so if I click on it and get it up, see all of the lighthouses are embedded into that file. So now I'm just going to, with this selected, I'm going to left click on it, and I'm going to save my place as, and it's going to save it as a KMZ file, and it's just going to, I'm just going to put it onto the desktop. Okay, I'm going to call it Oregon Washington lighthouses, and I'll save it as a actually I'm going to do it as a KML file. All right, so okay, so there's Oregon Washington KML file. So now gets the fun part. So now to get it into a GPX device, you have to convert the KML file to a GPX file. And there aren't a lot of really good applications that does the conversion for you. There is a website that I find that is really helpful, and I'm going to go to that. Here's Lighthouse Friends. And it is not there. It's called Convert CSV GPX OVR files, and it is called Convert POI files. And you can see a GPS data team COM. Anyway, so I found this is, as you can see, you have a lot of options here. An OMV file is a TomTom file, and here we have, we're going to convert, this is where you convert a CSV to a GPX, to a KM, to a LMX. I don't know what that one is. It's I guess it's a Karman file. So we're going to go down here. We have a KML file here, KML file. So we can convert a KML file to CSV, but we want to convert it to a GPX file. And I need to do this to get it into the Garmin GPS that's going to be in the car. That just takes, well, it actually will take a CSV file. Well, in either case. So I'm just going to convert this to a GPX file. So I'm going to click on this, and it's going to take me over to this window, and I'm going to choose the file, and it's a text file, and then here is my file. I want to choose, and what it's going to do is going to create my file, and I'm going to Oregon, Washington, where is refresh, where do I save it? Oh, here we go. I save as, I can save as a CSV. I might just do that. I'm going to save this as CSV, and it's going to put it in my download file, and I'm also going to save as a GPX file. And you can see it saved it as Oregon Washington lighthouses. So what I got to do is go to my download file. I have to go to my download file, and here is my two files right here, and I'm going to drag them over here to the desktop. Okay, now I I think I will pause. Okay, so now we've created the file, the GPX file, and the well, we have the CSV, and we should also have a KLM file. We do. So we've created these files, and now the second step of the process is to go ahead and to create the point of interest file in Google My Maps. So I've got the page open to Google Maps, and I'm going to go up here to the corner, and I'm going to click on here. I'm going to come down to My Maps, and I'm going to create a map. Okay, so I want to label this. I want to call it Close to Portland. And then if you want, you can label this anyway, and you can put a description in here, whatever you want to do. And here we got created the map. So now we're going to import the layer, and we're going to import the KLM file. And here we go, and you can see here when I did this a little bit earlier, I've got two lighthouses named the same name. Before I do that, I want to change the little attributes, the place marker, and I'm going to do that. I have to get them all at once. I have to go to a uniform style, and then click this box, close. When I'll come down here, I click the little box, come down to more icons. There's the icons here are, you get a little larger set of icons than you do in just Google Earth. So here's a lighthouse here that we can use. There. Now, if you also have custom icons, you can come in here and you can load a custom icon. The only little bit of hassle to it is you have to have some place on the internet where it is that you can access and load it up. The other part of the problem is that these custom icons, they don't reside within a particular database on your computer or that. Each time you build your own custom IMAP, you have to reload the icon. So anyway, just for the simplest here, we're just going to use that guy, and it looks just close enough to looking like a lighthouse. So there we go. And then when I come back here, we have all the items. Now I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to open the data table, and here you can see where I've got the two lighthouses named the same, and I'm going to change the name of this one from Bay to Head, and there we go. So so there's our little table here under the little drop down box, because where you can copy the map, you can create a new map, you can delete this map if you after you're done with using it. Set defaults, embed on my site, and then this is important, the export to as a KLM file, because a lot of times when I'm working with it, I'll want to export it back and do some refining in Google Earth. An example, if you get a CSV file from somebody else and it has a lot of information, a lot of sites, you may want to go through and look at the individual items and find the ones that you think are the most important to visit rather than the rest of them. So it's just this exporting to as a KLM is pretty important. Okay, so the other thing that I want to show you is, now when you have it here, you can do other stuff. You can add additional layers. For example, let's say you want to figure out the driving route. You want to already create your, kind of the route you want to drive. So you, let's say you want to add some other item in there that as a separate viewpoint, like a restaurant or hotel or whatever. You can do it this way. I'm going to actually get rid of this layer, delete this layer, because I want to do directions. I can add drive a direction. Let's say I'm just going to go to from Portland, and I want to go to I want to go to Cape. I want to go to Cape Meares, and here this gives me, and I can go ahead and now this is included in the map. So we're in Google, or back to Google Maps, and we can go over here and we can collect the menu, come down to My Maps, and here's our lighthouse to Portland, and here's the final result. So if we wanted to add other layers, we could go back and open up the map again, open original map, and I showed you how to delete it. And that's essentially the elements to building your custom POI file, and now you can use this for getting around and either load it back into your GPS, or you can use your GPS from your smartphone. Thanks for watching this.